Yeah, really.
Welcome to Cryptids, Crypts and Coffee, the podcast where two awkward Brits talk about horror with a bunch of unsuspecting guests. My name's Lou Yardley, and I make stuff up and write it down. And today I have a lovely cup of tea.
Very nice. And I'm Janine Pipe, writer of perfectly adequate short stories, and today I am drinking Starbucks Mocha. We are very excited to be talking to three of the final guys, a fellow vampire lover and Red Sox fan, Jack Campisi, horror writer and watcher of too many terrible sequels, Jason Brant, and our favourite creature feature crypto expert, awesome writer, Hunter Shea.
Yay, you made it.
I messed most of that up, but never mind.
I hate to say it, I watched Critters 5 this morning, so you are accurate.
Good Lord.
Top of the evening to you.
Yes. Okay, so because there's the five of us, we thought we would do it in like a round robin way, like you do on Final Guys anyway. So if I start with the questions, and I thought if we went Jack, Jason, Hunter, Lou, then me. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jack, what is your favourite vampire book?
Okay, so there's probably an obvious answer. Everybody loves Salem's Lot, and that's one of my favorites. But I'm going to go with John Stakely's Vampires with a $, which is what the John Carpenter Vampires movie was based on. But they gutted it, and only like the first scene and maybe one part in the middle. So I'd actually love to see them make a movie out of this. It's kind of a pulpy, fun, light thing, but the action scenes are the best. The other one that I would recommend for you is to read the novel of Let the Right One In.
Oh, okay.
If you saw Let the Right One In or Let Me In, this is like, you will learn so much more. There's so much stuff that happens in the book that doesn't happen in the movie, and you'll understand stuff in the movie better. But if you're looking for, nobody ever talks about this movie, although I have a feeling one of my colleagues might mention it as well. So John Stakely, Vampires with a $, for the S.
Very cool. Excellent. Jason, what are you going to go with, please?
I'm going to be boring. I actually was thinking about all the vampire books I've read, and it's not that many. I don't know why. Twilight's the greatest thing ever written, but beyond Twilight, I'm going to have to say I Am Legend is my favorite. It's so good, and I don't think any of the movies have really come close to capturing the magic in that. Yeah, I don't know that it's my favorite Matheson story, but it's definitely his most well known. It's great. So I'm going to go with that.
Awesome. Hunter.
All right. So, Jack, I was thinking of the Vampires book, too. But then I thought there's a series of books, and Lou and Janine will like this because it's on their side of the pond. Brian Lumley's Necroscope series.
Oh, yeah. Big fan.
I loved that series so much. And it seemed to go on and on and on. And I would just buy them all. And I rebought them all when the books were destroyed from me just paging through them. So I think I'm on my third version of all these books. It's absolutely brilliant. And why and how Brian Lumley his name isn't always mentioned as one of the best out there just blows me away. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking Post Road Pumpkin Ale.
Nice.
It's barely morning here. But
I've got pumpkin going.
I was going to go for a beer, but I saw you saying you couldn't get pumpkin spice anything, so I got some pumpkin spice creamer and put it in some coffee.
Oh.
Just because you can't. You're welcome.
It's so unfair. Lou, what's your favourite?
Oh, this is going to be like not very surprising, but the Necroscope series by Brant.
The surprising thing is, Lou, you're my spirit animal now. Now you're my favorite, not Janine. Here we go.
Right, I'm out. Bye.
What's the premise of that book, of that series?
Oh, go for it, Lou. There's a lot to unpack in this book.
Well, like just a 2-sentence, like.
In 2 sentences. Okay.
3. I don't care.
Harry Keogh dies and fights vampires in alternate universes.
There you go.
That's
wow, that's
basically
pretty cool.
Through the Mobius continuum.
You had me at Mobius Continuum.
It's complex. There's a lot of moving parts in these books, but they're.
I mean, I
awesome.
wasn't going to read this series until you said that.
Well,
Yeah.
I figured that would get you in.
That sold it, didn't it? Definitely. How many are there in the series?
A million.
About 1 million. Awesome.
There's like 10 maybe or more. I don't know. It just kept going on and on.
I'll
And
see if
do
it says in the book.
Do you have to read them all? Is it like Dark Tower that it all follows on, or could you just dip in and out?
You have to read them all.
You have to read them all.
Yeah.
There is a test at the end. We'll make sure that you do it.
I've got too much shit to read already. I
And have it all done by next week.
Okay.
I
Sorry. Were you going to say something, Lou?
want a book report on each one from you.
Okay. Yes, miss. I was the one that used to be a teacher, not you. Right. Okay. So my favourite is also Salem's Lot, but since we're not going to talk about that, I will mention our friend Glenn Rolfe until.
Oh yeah.
Just everything about this book is just fantastic, really. And it had been a while since I'd read a vampire story that had proper vampires in it as well. And this is basically Lost Boys in a book. It is absolutely fantastic. I love the 80s references, and Glenn's just a brilliant writer anyway, so you get submerged into the story and the setting. So yeah, that's my favourite vampire book at the moment, definitely.
I'm looking forward to reading that one.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list.
It is very, very good, definitely.
All right. That's a great show. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bye. Okay, so favourite vampire movie this time, and I am looking forward to these answers. Jack, what's your favourite vampire movie?
All right, just to prepare you, I'm never going to have just one.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
So I'm going to go
with
my
series.
I'm going to go with my favorite Twilight movie.
Yep.
It's the second one.
When everything seems lost for Bella.
Yeah,
Which one has this CG baby in it? That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the last one, right?
I think it might be.
It's kind of the Empire Strikes Back of the Twilight.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Twilight? Oh my God, you have to watch them. They're hilariously bad.
So
Hilariously bad.
I've seen the first one, and that was it. I've just not been able to watch anymore.
They're as bad as the books.
Watch the new movie, The Devil All the Time on Netflix. Robert Pattinson. He will not be recognizable to you from Twilight in this movie. He plays a preacher with a real dark side to him.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about that, actually. It looks good, yeah.
He's doing a good job trying to distance himself from that.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a favorite theatrical horror movie and a favorite TV horror movie, and Hunter knows where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So my favorite theatrical horror movie is Fright Night.
Yay!
The reason I say that is because I grew up on Hammer horror movies, and I love 80s horror movies, and I love vampires. And this movie is a homage to 60s and 70s horror movies. So basically, I'm Charlie Brewster, and it's got all the great, like you just said, traditional vampires. I love my vampires afraid of crosses and all the traditional stuff. And that movie, and I also like movies with humor. So that movie I'll watch it again as soon as October rolls around. I could watch it forever. However, I think my favorite vampire thing of all time is The Night Stalker from 1972, which is Darren McGavin in a TV movie that changed the world. It inspired a series which inspired The X-Files.
Wow.
Every horror writer who's probably over 40, that show inspired them. And Chris Carter derived The X-Files from that show, too.
And this is about a reporter in Las Vegas, and there's a series of killings that seem like a person who thinks they're a vampire, but it turns out it is a vampire. And so almost like with what Jaws did a few years later, he's not only hunting down the story and the vampire, but he's got politicians who are trying to keep this quiet, because if word got out that there was a vampire, it would not be good for
Of course, yeah.
or anything like that. It's a made-for-TV movie, though, so there's going to be, with your eyes from now, there's pauses that clearly they were going to commercial and things like that, and there's kind of like a few fight scenes where there's like some obvious stunt doubles and things like that. But this movie changed lives, including me and Hunter's. So.
Oh,
Wow,
everybody
I'll
I know.
track that down. It sounds amazing. And anything that inspired Chris Carter has got to be
Yeah.
something to watch and behold.
I was 5
Vampire
and my
in
father
Las
would wake
Vegas.
me up to watch it. Come on, you want to watch Night Stalker? Yeah, Dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a vampire in Las Vegas, especially back then, was brilliant because
Yeah.
where could you move around at nighttime and nobody even blinks because that's the only time you come out. So
Definitely. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Jason. I dread to think what it's going to be.
I like how you just start laughing as soon as you say my name. That's,
Because I know the taste in movies.
feels like I'm on Final, guys. So I thought about this. I was going to say Fright Night. I was thinking that, and then I just thought, what vampire movie do I go back to the most? And I don't even go back to it that much, but I'm going to go with Blade, the 1998 or 1997 gem. It's kind of the first big Marvel movie. I love this film, and every time I watch the opening, it's one of the greatest openings to any movie you'll ever see. I don't know if the rest of the movie kind of lives up to the opening, but damn, is it good. And super high body count, the way the vampires kind of disintegrate when they're killed, it's a lot of fun. And it's aggressively 90s, very 90s, super violent. I remember when I saw it in the theater because I was really into comic books at the time, and when a Marvel movie was coming out, I had to see it. And it was blowing my mind how violent that movie was. So I'm going to go with Blade.
That's an awesome choice, definitely. Yep, love Blade.
That is.
Yeah.
and not Blade 3.
No.
You don't like little vampire chihuahuas or whatever it was?
That's Tim Meyer's favorite.
Yeah.
Go look up
Halloween.
Patton Oswalt's. He wrote an article about what it was like to film that movie, and it's hilarious.
That's so good.
Yeah. Hunter.
Okay. This is a movie I actually watch all the time, and my youngest daughter, we're addicted to this movie. I just watched it a few days ago. I wrote about it. I'm going to pimp this. It's in an anthology called Strange Blood, where Vanessa Morgan, editor, asked a bunch of authors and actors, whatever, to talk about their favorite vampire movie. Mine is, and Jack will appreciate this, Hammer's The Vampire Lovers, which is part of a trilogy of lesbian vampire movies from the early 70s. Now, you might be saying, oh, horny Hunter is at it again. But no.
I am.
Like, kind of is.
Ingrid
No.
Pitt, baby.
It stars Ingrid Pitt, first of all, who is one of the legends of Hammer. Legends of our dreams. So this is the first of the vampire trilogy, and it's based, I have it in the book here. It's based on actually a short story that predates Bram Stoker's Dracula by a quarter century. It's
Carmilla.
J. Sheridan Le Farnow's novel Carmilla.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Ingrid Pitt plays multiple characters. She just barely changes her name, like Marcilla or Carmilla, but she's this comely vampire who gets taken into people's homes and seduces young nieces and eventually kills them. And there's, of course, a vampire hunter in it. Here's the thing. This is a breakthrough movie because this comes right at the end of the 60s sexual revolution here in America. This movie doesn't happen probably 5 years earlier than when it came out. And it's not exploitive whatsoever. So yes, but you get this in a lot of gothic Hammer movies. You get bodices and bosoms and, all that kind of stuff. But like when she's seducing him, it's a true seduction, but then the camera goes away. So you really don't see what goes on. And then your head plays total games with, I wonder what's happening here. But that's what I love about it because it doesn't wallow in the gutter ever. And the first time I took my daughter to see this, she was probably 16, 15. So if it was, and at that time, I thought she was going to grow up to be a pilgrim. Like she was just like, oh, you're cursing nudity. No. So when I knew we were going to watch this part of a triple header at a movie theater, I was like, oh, this is going to be a rough one. But she absolutely loved it. And the fact that she has a sister, and hence I have a daughter who is gay, we appreciated the way they handled this. So it was never leering.
Yeah.
You know, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful, beautiful women, beautiful men. Kind of a twist at one point, I thought. It's just, to me, it is my favorite vampire movie by far. And I'm not a big vampire person.
Mm.
So I think I like the social commentary in it. I like that it was, groundbreaking. I think that's what I like as well. But I just appreciate the filmmaking, the fact that they had to dance around the censors. And that's what makes you better. Like Howard Stern was better when he couldn't curse.
Then if you get to Twins of Evil, after that, there's way more skin in that movie.
Yeah, well then they're just pandering.
Lust for a Vampire is the third one, which I have.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm really shocked. I thought that was going to be a Jack pick, the lesbian vampire booby movie.
Hey, it's not to say I'm not going to watch them all.
I was on the fence. Well, I wasn't really on the fence. Another one that I would pick is The Hunger with Susan Sarandon and Catherine Deneuve and baby David Bowie. And there's a lot of sex going on in that one too. Like, I guess I want sex with vampires.
Yeah. It kind of go hand in hand though, doesn't it? Sexy vampires, it's usually there.
Or you could go Near Dark.
I thought you were going to say Near Dark.
That's probably my favorite. I can't even say modern. It's 30-something years old. But Vampire Lovers I'll watch anytime.
Okay, cool. Lou, what's your favorite?
I chose mine because it's not sexy vampires. Mine is 30 Days of Night.
Oh, that's fine.
It's my dad's favorite.
Was that your one?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I love the vampires in that one because they kind of remind me of sharks. Because they have the dead eyes and all the teeth, and they're not sexy at all. And I don't find sharks sexy.
What a brilliant concept that book is.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of that one.
Yeah, it's one of those ideas that as soon as I hear it, I'm like, how the hell did I not think of that?
Yeah.
Did you read the comic book?
I haven't.
Yes,
I haven't.
Comic and as well.
What was that, Lou?
The comic and the novel as well. There was a novelization done.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the art in the comic, but...
did the novelization, I think. Tim Levin. Didn't he do the novelization, the tie-in?
Doesn't he do them all? I mean, really?
Yeah. Okay, so that's my favorite as well, 30 Days of Night. But who have we lost?
I think we lost Jason.
Jason. Oh,
he's back.
You're back. You just did.
The joys of doing it on a phone. Somebody just tried to call me, so it decided to cut off Skype.
He got a text from Big Dave. And there was another wiener pick.
You got a call from Melissa George saying, "Thank them for liking my movie."
Yeah. So I'll go with my second favorite of the more recent ones, which is Stakeland.
Yes, that was going to be another. Twinsies.
Yeah, and I recently watched this one again, and I think it's because it's so bleak as well. And I know there's been a lot of the whole post-apocalyptic type films with it, but yeah, I think it's just, again, it doesn't pull any punches. It's nasty. The vamps are bad, and there's lots of despair, and that's what it would, if vampires were out there, that's what it would be like. So definitely, but I have to give a nod to the Lost Boys as well. I think for nostalgia, when you watch it back and it's like, this is so 80s, but actually that's why I love it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I like Lost Boys so much. I named my daughter Star because of that movie. I just started dating my wife, and I forget who I saw it with, but I said to my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I said, whoever I marry when I have a daughter, it's Star. And if they don't like it, they can take a fucking hike.
Yeah.
And I like it so much that I often play saxophone all oiled up with no shirt on.
Hey, we met him.
Oh, can we see that in a Final Guys episode?
It was edited for television. They couldn't.
Shades of Buffalo Bill.
I also sometimes wear the Kiefer Sutherland mullet wig just when I go out for groceries and stuff.
By the way, Saxophone Dude looks the same. Remember we saw him at Chiller?
Right, that's right, we did. 2 years ago.
buff and wet and ready to go.
Well, he still believes, so.
He's still moist.
He looked like a freaking pro wrestler with all that baby oil on it.
Even in his hair, it was like everywhere. It's like, how's he holding the sacks? How's it not falling out of his hands?
His jeans must have had like 30 pounds soaked into them by the end of that shoot.
I'll tell you what, in the Lost Boys, that scene where they have the guy over and they're doing all the vampire tests on him, like, we like some garlic? And he's like, I like it.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much.
It's one of the best in the whole movie.
The Frog Brothers are my favorite part of that whole movie.
Oh, yes, they were fantastic.
I have a feeling, Jack, that if we grew up like across the street from each other, that would have been us.
Yeah. When I saw that, that's exactly. I had when I saw the Lost Boys and they did the water pistol with the holy water, I literally stood up. I go, "That's my idea. I've been saying that for years."
You robbed me.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, it was. It's just a perfect 80s movie. It really is. It's just great.
It is.
It's got great
soundtrack.
music as well. I still listen to the soundtrack quite a lot. It's like, it's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Right. Okay. Next question, Jack. Have you got a book that you would love to be made into a movie?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Better be
It's
one
called.
of mine.
It's a Force of Shadows. The Hunger series.
That's a piece of shit.
Wait, those books are good.
I don't have to read Tim's
How dare
book. I
you
can just wait
denigrate
for the
Jason
movie.
Brant?
There's a great vampire book called Storberry by Dan Padonova that I read, and he is actually the son of Ronnie James frickin' Dio.
That's right.
Rainbow in the Dark himself.
No shit.
So Storberry is everybody who reads it will immediately compare it to Salem's Lot because it's a small town overrun by vampires. But while it's old-fashioned vampires, when I was looking for a book to read, I was going away for a long weekend. And Hunter and Jason know how long it usually takes me to read a book. I banged this out over a weekend. I just loved it. It was a page turner, old-fashioned vampires. A storm rolls in, hits this town, vampires, the whole thing. Really good book, and I think it would make a great movie. That was like sort of like the people who are looking for the good old-fashioned. I'm not looking for Twilight or Interview with a Vampire. You know, I just want a good rock and adventure vampire. And Dan's a great guy. Like, we communicated a little bit on Twitter. Seems like a tremendous dude. So that's the one I say. Storberry. Storberry.
Oh, okay.
On my Kindle. I gotta read that.
Where's it set?
Somewhere in the United States. Small town USA.
Is it
Like-
modern time?
Modern times, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hunter, Jason. Jason, next. What book would you like to see turned into a movie?
Well, I mean, other than the Hunger series, because I would like to have money.
I would kill to see that.
I want to be in your entourage, so I'm rooting for it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my breath that'll get made. I'm going to go with my boy Jonathan Jans wrote a Western vampire series a couple of years ago called Dust Devils, and I think that would be really freaking cool. Yeah,
that was great. My choice. Yeah.
Oh man, we're just stepping all over you.
We did a Monster Man with him. We did a Monster Man with him when that came out, and had a great episode about vampires. So I could talk all day about vampires.
Yeah, it's a great story. It works well. I tell everybody, if you're going to write a freaking horror novel, do not put it in the Old West. All of us try it. All of us completely fail sales-wise. It's like
including
black
Chance.
hole.
We all failed.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody can sell the damn things, but they always end up being great reads, but you just can't sell them. But I think he's got such a great story with it, with these traveling vampire actors, and it's just cool. I think it'd be a really good movie.
Definitely. The Jans is just, his prose are beautiful as well. They're almost written ready to be made into a movie. He's such a good writer. He really is.
Yeah, he's a way better writer than I am. And Jans, I expect the check to get here within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Hunter.
Of mine, because I'm a New Yorker, I love Ray Garton's Live Girls.
Oh, okay.
I
This
read
is
that.
seedy Times Square, and it's sexy and it's dirty. It would make a great
Noticing a
double
theme
feature with
here.
my mop movie.
Yeah.
You know what? You recommended this book to me, and I read it, and I could pick because we both grew up when we were kids. We go to Times Square when it was all shady.
Yeah.
And you could visualize it in your head when you were reading that book.
I felt my first boob in Times Square. Can I tell this story here?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
okay.
please do.
Did
Yeah.
you pay?
So back in the day, Times Square, you could go there, and Times Square was not Disney-fied yet, so it was just nothing but hookers, drugs, and porn theaters. I mean, that's all it was, and peep shows. So you would go to a peep show, and I think I was 14 or something. We took the train down and went to a peep show. So you give them money, and you get these big coins, right? So you put the coin in, and that lifts the window up so you could see this woman behind the glass do her thing. Then for an extra coin, you put a smaller coin in a different slot, and just this little hole opens up in the wall, and you just stick your hand in, and you can touch anything you want. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Like, none of my friends did, but I was like, I'm doing this. And you put your hand in, and like this woman had these giant implants, so I assumed all boobs felt like just rocks. Like I had this completely screwed up perception of what breasts felt like because of it. And then we came home, and parents like, hey, where'd you guys go? Well, we're just driving our bikes around. It was fun.
You didn't wash your hand for a month.
No, definitely not.
I jokingly asked how much you paid, and you actually did pay.
I paid. I think it was like $5 for the total thing. It wasn't much money, but that was in the days when like you'd wake up and your parents would kick you out at 9 in the morning and not want to see you till 6 p.m. at all. They don't want to even know that you exist.
Yeah,
So
I'd go
sometimes
play
we just
wiffle
train.
ball on days like that.
Well, we would do that too, but on this particular day, and we never paid for the train either. We would just move from car to car and
Nice.
avoid the conductors until we got down to Grand Central.
Yeah, some of us read books, some of us played sports, some of us felt rock titties, apparently.
I read books, I played sports, and I felt a rock booby. So,
Like water
well-rounded.
sports.
Nice.
I
I'm
missed
just
that.
glad it was your hand that you put when you said there was a second hole.
Well, I think you can put anything you want, but at that age, I was just putting my hand in.
Fair enough.
I had a little more guts.
You've just never told the end of the story is what it is.
Putting your hand in the hole is brave enough for me.
And that's how I got herpes.
Remember that movie Haunt where the girl sticks her hand in and gets cut up?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, my mind got cut up on that.
Okay, excellent.
More regrettable public admissions.
The psychological profile starts to take shape here.
I love my life.
I don't know why I willingly listen to this shit for an hour a week at least.
Oh,
Oh, it's just so funny. Excellent. Lou, can you top that?
No.
Yeah, when'd you grab your first
what
boob?
did you?
Did it feel like rocks?
No.
Well, you
like
said, did you pay for it?
That question
No.
wasn't on the list. I'm sorry.
It was always going to come up.
Well, it's-
Yes. No.
She's speechless. It's done.
I think it was about the book you wanted to be made into a movie.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yes.
I've forgotten as well.
Well, I'm going to go with Necroscope again. And I think there was some talk, like quite a few years ago, where someone was trying to get that made. But I've
Oh, what? Can you synopsize that in 2 sentences?
rock boobs,
With fangs.
fire rock boobs.
That would have to be like, you'd have to guarantee like a 5-year series run to make
Yeah.
that work. Minimum.
And I've got no idea how, like, you made the vampire worlds and stuff, or the Mobius continuum. There'd be some
Oh.
interesting CGI.
Oh, the vampire Ares and everything that they have. And oh yeah, they have like these little castles in the sky. It's crazy stuff.
Okay. Is it like Terry Pratchett writing vampires?
No.
No.
No, it's
Okay.
like Brian Lumley writing vampires.
Well, obviously. I was trying to compare it to something.
It's like Jason Brant writing vampires.
Oh, okay.
Hey, there's an author reference I got.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. Terry Goodkind. Didn't he just pass away the other day?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so there we go.
He made the news, but not the good kind.
No.
Oh my God.
That was for Jason.
Waffle.
Right, okay. So since Jason's already stolen mine, I'll go with I'm gonna go with the same then. Until summer comes around. I
Oh,
think.
stop it.
That's
Come on.
no. Keep it out.
Wow, I love
Take
Glenn
time. Google an answer.
We all
Find
want
something
that.
else.
Pick something. You're such a book person. Come on. You gotta have more. You gotta step up your game if you're gonna have a podcast.
That's the question. The question is, what book would you turn into a movie? My
Okay.
answer was Dust Devils. Brant has stolen it, so I'm going with Until
Just
Summer Comes
what's on
Around.
the shelf? Oh, thank God, there's a second.
I love Lamp. Are you saying that because
I love Lamp.
We all want Glenn's book to be made into a movie. We all want chances. We all want the Hunger series. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was this showing?
We all want Swamp Monster Massacre.
Yes, I really want that.
I want $100 million budget to make that movie.
I would kickstart that.
Oh my God.
I want Swamp Monster Massacre with a sci-fi channel budget. That would be glorious.
They were interested in the novel and we turned them down.
You asshole. Why would you do that?
Because practically they were asking me to pay them to do it.
Oh.
No, not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
but Ian Ziering?
Have either of you lovely ladies read Swamp Monster Massacre?
Not
All
yet.
right, I was going to say a comment that would give the whole thing away, so I'll let it go. Spoilers.
Is that
The
the one?
best.
Is that the one set in Florida?
Yes.
Yes. So it's definitely on my radar again because I love Florida. But
I like to think
Yeah.
I did something with skunk apes and Bigfoot no one's ever done before,
Oh, yeah.
or
Oh,
since for good reason.
yeah. Oh, fantastic.
What'd you say, Lou?
Involve rock boobs.
Oh, you wish it was rock boobs. Trust me.
I die in that book.
Oh,
That's right. I killed you.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm so into Bigfoot. This is an actual plaster cast of the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot. You laugh. I got this
Blaster
from
Caster. That's all I'm thinking of.
Plaster Caster. Author Chris Sorensen sent this to me. So they have these replicas of the Willow Creek. It's my prized possession.
Very nice.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, no,
Oh,
my
yeah,
prized
Jack
possession
in a
is
structure,
Jack
and
and
it's-
Jason's hearts.
Yeah.
But this is
Oh,
we
brilliant.
do love
Okay.
each other. I just want the world to know.
Obviously. Okay. Let's go on to your favorite portrayal of a vampire in a movie. Jack.
All right. So the caveat is Christopher Lee as Dracula is like the only guy to ever really make Dracula scary.
Yep.
And even though the Christopher Lee Dracula movies vary in quality, and there was nothing like Christopher Lee Dracula when I was a kid. So I have to say that. But I'm going to go with
What?
Lena Leanderson, who is the girl from Let the Right One In.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good choice.
That
Yeah.
is such a layered performance.
Mhm.
And I don't even know if it's actually her voice. They may have overdubbed it, but whatever they did, that, and if you watch the Let Me In, the dumbed down version for America,
Yeah.
which is perfectly entertaining, but nowhere
good
near the depth.
Yeah.
Like you can just see like the performance is so much better in the original. And just the struggle, the pain, a little bit of deception that might be going on there, and everything like that. And my couple of honorable mentions I want to give would be William Marshall as Blackula.
Oh, That's awesome.
That is a great movie that is laughed off because of the name and it was a blaxploitation movie, but it's actually a great vampire movie. And that man has to carry a lot on his shoulders, and that's a great movie. And the other one I'm going to go.
Don't think because that's good that Blackenstein's any good, because it's not.
Blackenstein. The other one I was Kiefer Sutherland. Going back to the Lost Boys, nobody does a bad guy better than Kiefer Sutherland, so we have to just give him a nod.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Awesome. Okay, great choices. Thank you, Jason.
I'm going to go with 2. The first is Robert Pattinson, because nobody plays a 118-year-old pedophile vampire who still goes to high school better than Robert Pattinson. I mean,
I was totally going to joke and preempt you and say Robert Pattinson. That's amazing.
True that.
Nobody could nail that better. So
I thought Ashley Greene was the best vampire in that whole thing.
Oh, good reasons to believe that.
I'm going to go with Gary Oldman in Bram Stoker's Dracula. The beginning in particular, when he's Vlad the Impaler or whatever, and he stabs the cross and drinks the... I mean, that is so intense, and just he's so creepy throughout the whole movie. I just love it. Every time I watch that movie, I'm just transfixed by him on the screen. It was like the perfect casting, and he nails it. So
he's a fantastic actor, definitely, like a real chameleon. You know, he plays so many different roles, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was difficult for him acting across from, whoa, Mina, but he did okay.
My favorite Gary Oldman is The Professional, the insane police inspector that he plays. Send everyone!
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Oh, brilliant. Hunter.
All right, I have 2. I have a contemporary, which is not, because it's been a few decades, and I have an OG. My favorite probably to watch all the time is Bill Paxton.
Oh, yeah.
In Near Dark. So I love and you can't sell it. Well, maybe you could sell it if you do a vampire western that's modern. Maybe that's where we all missed the boat. He has the greatest vampire kill in history. When you cut someone's throat open with the spurs on your boots.
The barroom scene in that movie is one of the greatest vampire things ever filmed.
Yeah, he is bat crap crazy. And as a person who in the 80s, at that time that movie came out, was wearing spurs, I appreciated the use of...
Wait, what?
You were in that Village People cover band, right? Trivia band?
No, well, I was, full on metalhead, and we used to have leather jackets, and we had spurs on our boots.
In New York.
In New York.
Oh, I thought you were in like a
John
Benet Ramsey.
I would bring it down. I would wear it down in CBGB, mother effers. It's authentic.
Were you wearing spurs when you paid a hooker to grab her rock movie?
No, I was pre-spurs. I was probably wearing pro Keds.
Okay. If you had the spurs on, maybe you wouldn't have to pay.
Here's where spurs, and we used to do this on purpose. So we were in college, so we would say, "Oh, class starts at 10. I'm going to arrive at 10:20." And you would do that slow walk to the back with your spurs going ching, ching, ching. We would do it on purpose just to piss the professors off.
Oh, my God.
I have a story about that, too. So,
I've never met anyone that actually wore them. I thought it was just something like John Wayne did. No one else.
I was dressed like the Lone Ranger, so I had the mask and everything. And I'll silver when I walked into her.
I had the leather jacket with the fringes. We had leather pants. We had spurs. We had boots.
Oh,
we also in our boots.
You're going to tell a story.
Oh, well, in the boots, we used to put a spike in the front. So we would screw a spike in the front. So when you get to a mosh pit, you would kick people in the ass with the spike in your boot when you're in the middle of a mosh pit. And you just see them grab their ass and kind of like leap about 10 feet in the air and they hobble out of the mosh pit. That's if they hurt you at one point. That's how you get them back. I'm revealing way too much.
What?
Well, we would mosh. We would mosh every 2-3 nights a week. And some of these mosh pits were rough. So you had to arm yourself.
Someone kicked me in the ass with a spiked boot. I would be arrested.
They would never know, right? Because it's a mosh pit. So you just I had somebody knock my shoulder out, to completely dislocate my shoulder, and I got so mad. I got him right in the taint with that spike. And then I had a friend pull my arm back in, and I went back in the pit.
That's hardcore.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, the person who put my shoulder back in was my sister-in-law. So
That was your second boob you grabbed.
right here. But my favorite, probably the scariest to me, is Max Schreck as Nosferatu.
Yes. Yeah.
To me, that's the creepiest Dracula of all time.
And then let's give a special shout out to Willem Dafoe in what is it,
Yeah,
Shadow of the
he's
Vampire?
creepy looking. Here I come. So yeah, those are my two, and there's my story.
Oh my goodness. Excellent. So, Lou, can you top that one?
Again, I was going to say Gary Oldman, but that got stolen, so I'm going for one of my backups.
I'm killing you guys.
You really are. You think like a lady.
I'll take it.
So yeah, go for one of my backups because we've been binge watching What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Going, hey!
Yeah.
And I'm going to go for Doug Jones as the Baron,
Good choice.
just because he made me laugh a lot.
That's outstanding. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. That's a good one.
Taika Waititi is so great in that movie.
Who was
When
it? The
he's-
vampire in Love at First Bite.
Oh, George Hamilton.
There we go. That nobody thinks of him.
I wonder why.
I do. I saw that in the theater.
Does Jim Carrey turn into a vampire in First Bitten or whatever the hell it's
Once
called?
bit
Yes.
Once Bitten?
Yeah.
with Lauren Hutton.
Yeah.
Favorite. He was my favorite. Jim Carrey, isn't it?
What about Nicolas Cage and The Kiss of the Vampire?
Oh my, that is one of the
Oh,
worst
Vampire's Kiss.
turd movies of all time.
Yeah, there's definitely some really good movies and then some god awful vampire movies.
Hmm.
Okay, so my favorite portrayal is probably from The Lost Boys as well, I think. And again, just for nostalgia, really. It's just, again, because I just love watching it over and over. But I think the scariest vampires, probably something like 30 Days a Night. Like you were saying, like with the sharp mouth and the teeth, and there's just pure viciousness. You're not going to get away from that. There's no talking them down.
Plays a record with his claw fingernail.
I don't think that's really possible.
No.
He actually
I've tried
DJs parties.
It's amazing. And then you put light bulbs in his mouth, and they turned on.
Days.
Okay, awesome. Right. We did say that if we had a bit of extra time, we might go into the worst movies, which I think we've kind of touched on a bit anyway. But
Oh, I
We
got a
have
couple.
nothing but time.
There's
excellent.
a lot of bad vampire movies.
Yeah. We
Okay.
started late because of me, so I'll miss a little bit of the game. To hell with it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Jack,
Second.
what are the worst vampire books, movies, portrayals, just anything? What are the ones that are just not so bad they're good, but just bad?
All right, I got two, and I may mow Jason's lawn here a little bit. Sorry. The guy who played Dracula in Van Helsing, that whole thing. I'll let you talk about that one, and I'll chime in. And I'll say my backup is Dario Argento's Dracula 3D.
Oh, you stole mine. You
I'm
can't get
sorry.
worse.
I mean, those are two just god awful. I mean, I've watched more vampire movies than anybody in this chat. So, I mean, if you just like Google vampire movies and look, it's pretty easy to be like, put one side, these are the must-sees, and these are the avoid at all costs. There's a lot of stuff in the middle too, but Argento's Dracula 3D is pretty god awful. So
Yeah.
sounds like I can chime in on you guys, so I'll let you.
What is it that you don't like about it? Or is it just the whole experience?
The guy in Van Helsing is so over the top, and that movie's just so ridiculous that just, and as a Dracula guy myself, I'm like, I was looking forward to this movie so much. I thought like the premise, because what I love about the Christopher Lee Dracula movies was it took Dracula out of the traditional Dracula story and made him this character running like the before Freddy and Jason and all that. This was a character that coming back in other movies and terrifying you. So I'm like, oh, Van Helsing, if they could take that character and go like we were talking about the Night Stalker, if you could have the monster of the movie, like he takes on vampires in this one and then goes to the next one and zombies in the next one or whatever. Like I thought the premise, Hugh Jackman, and then that abortion of a movie comes out. And the Dracula guy, I think, was the worst. I don't know. There's a lot of bad things in that movie, but
That movie
he's
sucked.
just that guy. Just that guy. Well, he was in what's that movie with Nicole Kidman and Moulin Rouge? I think he was in that movie.
Which I actually like that movie.
I love the brides in that movie.
Yeah.
Kate Beckinsale. There's some redeeming qualities.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone pulls out Underworld, I'm going to fight them in this, by the way.
Yeah.
So I better not hear the title of that movie mentioned in worst. Like, I always watch that when I'm sick, so I figure if I get coronavirus, I'm going to become the world expert on them because I'll just watch them over and over while I recover.
The other thing I will throw in is I read a bunch of the Anne Rice books, and the further I got into them, the further less interested I got. I thought the first like two were okay, then Queen of the Damned, like, eh. When I got to like Tales of the Body Thief, I was like, all right, enough of this, and I quit.
What about the movies?
Interview with the Vampire I thought was okay. I didn't think Tom Cruise was a great choice for Lestat. I thought Brad Pitt was pretty good. And what's her name? Kirsten Dunst is amazing in that.
Yes. Go Toros.
These are spirit figures. Queen of the Damned, I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Rubbish.
It has a great actress. God rest her soul.
Yeah, but the film sucks.
Stuart Townsend from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That was Sean Connery's last movie, I think. Who
If
is
you'd
still
acted
alive,
in
by the way.
Last movie too.
Okay, Jason.
I'm going to go with Underworld as the worst.
Son of a bitch.
I was going to say Van
Driving to
Helsing.
Maryland right now.
Jack basically said everything. I'll just say that this came out after the X-Men, so Hugh Jackman was the guy, and Stephen Sommers directed it, who did The Mummy, and I love The Mummy. Add Kate Beckinsale and Kevin J. O'Connor. This movie should have been a freaking home run. And this is another one. I went to the theater, and I thought about climbing a tower with a rifle when I walked out. I was just like,
I hate everyone.
So that was maybe the most disappointed I've ever been in the theater. But since you already mentioned that, I'll throw out another one, although I don't think this really qualifies for you, because to me this is a so bad it's good movie. It's called Fist of the Vampire. Ooh. You can get it, I think, on Amazon Prime. It's done by a guy who lives up in Erie, Pennsylvania, who makes just Z-grade, no-budget films. And he's gotten significantly better over the years at making movies, but this is one of his early ones, and you watch it, and it's like, what? It's impressive. So if you get a chance, check out Fist of the Vampire on Amazon.
Is there karate in that?
Oh yeah. It's one of those where the guy writes, stars, directs, produces, and every time he's in it, it's how badass is he? It's fantastic.
I know what I'm watching after the Seahawks game tonight.
It sounds amazing. Yeah.
He's got braided hair, like almost down to his ass. I mean, it's great.
There we go. Perfect. Okay.
Right. I know everyone likes to crap on Twilight, but I think a lot of people who crap on Twilight have never read the books or seen the movies. So I will give Twilight credit for one thing. It got my daughter into reading. So those books are big books, and she was reading them, and it got her onto everything. So she's become an avid reader because of those. However, back in the day, I said, let me read this. Because at the time I read a couple of Harry Potters, like, oh, these are really good. They're terrible. They're awful books. They're shitty movies. I mean, I have no idea how this has made so much money. It's mind-boggling. But I did my research, and they're as bad as you think. So it lives up to the hype or the negative hype.
I literally never understood how it took off. I mean, the book cover it's two hands holding an apple. What?
Yeah.
That's very YA. Like YA book covers in those days just sucked. But it didn't matter. It was like they were just consuming. You could put anything on there. I don't know.
It's
It was
strange.
a moment in time. You guys still like Van Helsing. That was like my birthday movie, and it's the worst birthday ever. But one that I really can't stand is Interview with a Vampire. To me, that ruined vampires for a long time. It's
That
just
was my choice. Yep.
stupid. Tom Cruise is dumb as a vampire. Brad Pitt is beautiful, but I just don't buy it. If you're gonna want to watch that, I suggest you watch Intercourse with a Vampire. It's a far better movie. It's shorter, very engaging. Some might say titillating. I don't know. I'd rather watch that. But yeah, Interview with a Vampire, I just can't. As a movie, I cannot stand it.
It's better to watch it with Spurs on too.
Yeah, baby. I got my Spurs. I just don't have my boots. Can't wear them with trainers, as Lou and Janine would say.
Lou.
Mine's not a movie. It's like a 3-part TV thing. I think it's on Netflix and BBC recently. The new Dracula.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh,
first
Jack
episode,
steered us away from that.
first episode, brilliant. Second episode, brilliant. Third episode, what?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's ruined it.
Isn't that the Sherlock guys made that series?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
And the guy who played Dracula is great, and the
Yeah.
lead woman in it is great. My God, what a letdown that third episode was.
Definitely. Yep.
And especially the last scene as well.
Yeah.
So he basically kills himself. Sorry,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah. You're
I never
helping people.
watched it, yeah.
See, that's like a Dean Koontz book. Like, I don't give me 380 great pages just to shit the bed in the last 30. Like, I'm out. If you can't stick the landing, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I'm avoiding you at all.
You got to
Waste my
Nadia
time.
Comaneci that bad boy.
Yeah,
Stick
you
that
know,
landing.
I'm too old to waste time on crap.
You know what sticks the landing is the last Twilight.
I know. Let me tell you, I will say this. I dropped my wife and my daughter to see that because they saw them all together in the theater. And I said, I go to a bar. I'll come back and pick you up, which is a great idea. I'm going to get drunk and pick up your wife and daughter, drive them home. When they came out, they were crying. It's like, what is going on here?
I had
Have you
never
seen
seen
the
the
movie?
Twilight.
The last one?
No, I didn't watch the last one. No.
It's amazing. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
I'd never seen the Twilight movies, and then I was actually job hunting. I was out of work, and FX was just showing them all day. So I was like working on my laptop, and I just left the TV on. So I was kind of going in and out of paying attention, but I got the gist. And by the third one, I'm just like, this is horrible. They were like fighting in the snow and all that. And like sometimes I just stopped because it was like a train wreck. I had to watch. I was like, oh my
I love when they play baseball. That's like my favorite when they play
Oh,
baseball.
Jesus Christ.
But now you watch
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart, like she's got some chops, and Pattinson, it's like the real deal. Like God bless him.
But you got to get your start somewhere. And unlike like Tom Hanks was in a terrible like horror movie in the beginning, like they did horror movies that made billions of dollars. So good for them.
Yeah, we're laughing at it, but they're the ones laughing. They're all stupid
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
Like look at this schmuck in his attic talking about a fucking broken movie.
He's 80 who can't figure his computer out, talking shit about me.
Yeah, but I am smoking a $20 cigar, so there you go, baby.
There you go. Yeah. Who's got the better life, eh?
You know, I apologize for people who don't like smoking. I've been watching where I work. We've closed the office and done admin days, so I'm catching up on paperwork. And in the background, I'm listening and watching Orson Welles interviews in the 70s. And he's always got the cigar and he's talking. I'm like, I'm getting a cigar today. So you can blame Orson.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's quite atmospheric because you look all like spooky
Right,
and
like there's
it's like the
ghosts
Thing
around.
or something. Yeah.
What was the wine he used to sell?
Oh, Ernest and Julio
God.
Gallo.
Or you say Junio Gallo? Yeah, we will
Sell
sell
no
no wine
wine
before it's time.
before it's time.
Are you sipping on that while you're doing this?
So Janine, you are like Dick Cavett. You and Lou are like Dick Cavett today.
Okay.
Great.
They're like,
interview
who's
of all
Dick
time.
Cavett?
Yeah.
I know that's different.
You know Dick Cavett from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 because he makes a cameo in it.
You're so goddamn old.
Look,
I'm
there's
sorry.
no excuse not to know the past. I understand George Washington helped found this country.
You're like P. Diddy.
Yeah, he's exactly the same as George Washington. You're right. What was I thinking?
Okay.
I went to high school with P. Diddy, by the way. He's in my yearbook.
Oh, God, here we go.
Really?
No, seriously. I did go to school with P. Diddy, and my friend went to school with Jennifer Lopez.
That's actually really cool.
He was Puffy back in the day. He was rapping in the halls, and we insisted we all call him Puffy. And since we went to an all-boys Catholic school, we didn't take too well to that request.
Did he make fun of your Spurs?
I didn't have Spurs in high school. I was wearing a suit and a tie,
Oh, I'm sorry.
being harassed by brothers, and
I could see you in a suit and tie and spur those, you tool.
I would totally do that. I would have
Yeah,
loved it.
yeah, you would work that definitely. You could make it work. Yeah.
I think
Now
I
we know where
discovered
P.
my
Diddy's
outfit.
we know where P. Diddy's hit song "Rock Titties" came from. Now.
I should have never told Sean that story.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so mine have all been. It's obviously the curse of going last. Mine have all been stolen again.
Look on your bookshelf.
Yeah. So I have read the Twilight books, I must admit, and yeah, they sucked, but I wanted to read them. I haven't seen the movies apart from the first one, and it was god awful. But I also said that the worst portrayal I thought was Tom Cruise in Interview with a Vampire. Just no, I don't want my vampires to look like that. It's not right.
I don't like Scientologist vampires.
No, exactly.
And if you read Lestat, like I just did not see him in that role. Like
No, not at all. No, he ruined it. Like he ruined
That is going clear.
Okay, Jack, since you are the resident vampire expert, have you got anything else that you would like to impart on us? Vampire knowledge and things?
oh gosh.
No pressure.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
Right on the spot.
I would say this. Jack Palance once played Dracula in the 70s in Dan Curtis's Dracula. That nobody has seen that, so you should check that out.
I
If
think
you
it's
love
on Amazon, right?
it is the most faithful version of the Dracula to the book is the BBC Dracula with Louis Jourdan. This is my favorite Dracula. Scared the hell out of me when I was 10 years old. It's again a BBC from 1977, so you're adjust it. My favorite Van Helsing of all time in this.
Okay.
And if you watch this, the blueprint for Bram Stoker's Dracula by Coppola, this was the blueprint he used. So I would say if you're looking for two Draculas that nobody has never ever really talks about much, those would be the two to check out.
And Louis Jourdan
Awesome.
is the bad guy in Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Cool.
And he was a Bond villain too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll leave you with a recommendation because seemingly nobody saw this when it hit theaters. It's a different kind of vampire movie, but Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining, is about kind of like a psychic vampires.
Psychic vampires.
It is so freaking good. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Have you read it?
Yes. Yeah. I actually I liked the ending of the movie better than the book. I thought some of the changes they made were really good.
I'm the same way. I prefer the movie to the book too, which is
Me
weird.
too. I didn't read the book, but
Nah.
I will tease this too. On Final Guys, I will be talking about 2 vampire movies. So this week, guys, you get a little more.
Excellent.
Is it
Hunter,
my
have
turn?
you got? Have you got any? Just want to know any more of your stories, really?
No, I'm tired.
Stories.
You know, whenever I tell a story, I feel like my dad came back to life and is just inhabiting Jason because he'd get the same goddamn faces every time I say that look of disappointment and shame. I mentioned that your heart is my most treasured present, and you still look at me like the bastard son you wish you never had. But whatever.
That's exactly how I think of you.
Because you reach for his heart, but you grab his boob.
Well, once you do
That
tummy
is-
time with me, you'll never go back. I mentioned this movie earlier. I think a lot of people don't talk about The Hunger. I absolutely love The Hunger. I like these kind of like offbeat. If you're going to do, there's two offbeat vampire movies I would suggest. The Hunger, which is from, I think, maybe 1980. And also A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. An Iranian. It's Iranian, right? Yeah, it's Iranian.
It's Iranian, but it's filmed in California.
Yeah. So it's black and white. So there's a whole generation that might not dig it, but I think that's a really cool movie, and it's on Shudder now. So I keep
Cool.
popping it on when I'm at home.
It's a good one.
Jack, did you mention to me before about one called Martin?
Martin
Ferrero.
is
Yeah.
that's actually one of the ones I'm going to talk about on Final Guys. Martin
Awesome.
is if I was to tell you 10, 15 must-see vampire movies, Martin would be one of them. George A. Romero's vampire movie, non-traditional vampire movie, and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it written down. Martin.
I actually even recommend that to you. In that thread, I think
Yeah.
Steve Barnard did, but
Oh, okay. I remember that somebody
I,
did.
I,
Yeah.
I agree. It's just Martin is one of those ones that anytime somebody mentions like what's a vampire movie I haven't seen that I should, somebody will say Martin to you, and they're right.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've definitely got to see that one. And then I've written down Near Dark.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
watch that.
Okay.
It's great.
Catherine Bigelow, who did The Hurt Locker, she directed
Yep.
that.
Oh, okay.
So that is not my favorite start to finish vampire movie. Like the non-vampire parts for me are not as strong, but the vampire scenes in that movie are some of the best. Especially that scene he was talking about earlier.
Mm.
Some of the best scenes ever. Bill Paxton is so awesome in that movie.
He's over the top, and yeah, he's incredible in that.
So that's a top 10, 15 vampire movies of all time.
Oh, I got one. There's a
Yep.
Steven Seagal movie called Attack Force.
We have
Well,
Wait, no, it's Bloodsuckers, not just movies that suck.
It's amazing. I think it was supposed to be about aliens, and they re-edited it. So I don't know if they're vampires or drug addicts. It's not really clear. But they dub over Steven Seagal's voice for about half the movie. It's the best. You
Wait,
can't beat
for
it.
half? So you got half
Yeah.
his voice and half not?
Yeah, like he'll have one sentence where it's him, and then the next sentence it's like an old man trying to do a Steven Seagal voice.
I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm
it's
hard
so
to
good.
kill.
It was right around the time when his hairline kept coming down his forehead. Now it's like 2 inches above his eyebrows. This is right at the start of that.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Did you do an SBIG on that one?
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You want a
it's
good vampire comedy? There's one called Bloodsucking Bastards, which is kind of like Office Space with vampires. That's a good flick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is. What do you think of Dracula 2000? Or Dracula Dead and Loving It?
I love it. Is that Leslie Nielsen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Renfield is the
I
best.
like that. Have you guys seen the Carry On films? I know that they were like British, like that. Have you seen Carry On Screaming?
No,
No, I
Oh.
never even heard of that.
never heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any of the Carry On films?
No.
Like
Carry On, My Wayward Son?
C-A-R-R, yeah, like Carry On My Wayward Son, or Carrion as in like Carrion.
As in like Carry On My Wayward Son, but they were
Oh.
so kind of like the same time as Hammer. They're quite old, some of them, but they're all comedies, and they're obviously of their times, like 60s, 70s. But Carry On Screaming is their like Halloween one, and all the characters in it are, you've got like it's like the Addams Family kind of people, but it's just brilliant. And if you like Hammer films and that kind of thing, you should definitely look it up. I think it's like maybe 79, or it might be earlier, but that's
Wow.
I
No, I
watched
never
that
heard of
with
that.
my dad over and over and over as a child, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like,
So is your dad the one who got you into horror?
yeah, definitely. He used to tell me ghost stories, and he used to I watched horror with him. Like if my mum went out, we'd put like, oh, I'd be like 8 or 9, and he'd be like, oh, let's just put Freddy on, and we'd watch all that kind of stuff. My first horror book was Salem's Lot, and I was only 10, and that was his book as well.
Wow,
So
you're a good dad.
Yeah, I did have a good dad, definitely. And he loves all the stories that I write now. So he's one of my beta readers. I send him stuff, and that's what he likes. And it's kind of like he's really proud that he got me into horror at such a young age, and now I write it. So yeah.
That's nice. See, that's sweeter than Jason's story, which was a series of uncles who got him into horror.
You were not supposed to say that in public, you piece of shit.
I'm sorry.
Oh dear. Is the trial still ongoing? You're not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
His uncle was a werewolf.
We all come, like the three of us come from like stable homes. Like I found that most horror guys and women come from stable environments. It's the romance writers who come from fucked up things. It's weird.
Hey, you don't have a screwed up background or anything.
I don't know at all. Grew up in the Bronx. Down dirty in the Bronx.
You'd think where I grew up, people would have been wearing spurs, and you're in the city wearing spurs.
Spurs, come on. They haven't even invented metal where you were from. There was such wood and thatch and mud.
You're not lying. My grandfather's neighbor had an outhouse until like 10 years ago.
There you go. Like where Jason grew up, like the word holler meant a lot. You know, down by that holler?
We didn't have spurs. We had penny loafers with pennies in them.
It's like Jack and I didn't grow up too far apart, like distance-wise, but like culture-wise, you can't get more
Totally
black
different.
and white. I mean, our distance where we grew up is maybe 20 miles, if not even. Maybe 15. But
It's
yeah, totally different.
20 minutes, but like when we talk about, we watched all the same stuff, but whenever he was like wearing spurs and kicking people in the ass, I was like, oh yeah, we were playing flashlight tag.
Oh, and we were crazy gluing private parts, but that's a story for another day. Nail polish is your friend if you do that, by the way.
Okay.
So anybody out there who thinks they want to do it, there is a way to extract without calling for attention.
Excellent. A bit
The
of
more you
PSA
know.
for everyone, yeah.
And that's one to grow on.
This is like the end of a G.I. Joe episode where they give advice to kids.
Knowing is half the battle.
If you glue your private parts onto someone else's private parts with crazy glue,
If you want
a
to
little
kick someone
bit
in
of
the
nail
ass,
polish. It didn't happen to me.
No, okay.
Somebody kicked me in the butt with spurs, I would go report them to the principal.
There was no
I would have
principal
been
like
like
a
a-
nightclub.
I would have been a rampaging beast, just smashing everyone behind me. Like,
Well, first of all, it's a mosh pit, so you're already a rampaging beast, and you were such a schmuck that you deserved the spike in the ass. There was a reason for it. It wasn't random. It was like, I know
don't really
eventually
believe-
someone's going to get out of control.
I just have a feeling if you go to a concert with spikes in your shoes, you're looking for trouble. You know, you were the instigator here.
No, the problem is I had learned, I'm like, all right, I'm really getting hurt at some of these things. So now I'm going to fight back. And I'd like to think there's at least a dozen people with a little dimple scar in their asses. It's just a remembrance of 1987 through 89.
Yeah,
You were the
we
Bill
call ass-
Paxton of Yonkers, New York.
Yeah, really, I should have cut their throats open.
We call ass dimples the Hunter Shays around here.
I
you
got
a little Hunter
shade.
Shea right there.
I got shade last night.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
still
Lou,
can't- yeah.
Shut up. Would you let somebody else talk?
I know I'm terrible, aren't I?
You have a really nice Days of Our Lives aesthetic going on. Like you got some Vaseline over the lens.
Like
Nice glow.
Silver Shepherd at Moonstruck. Moonlight.
What was that?
So I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm just going to pretend it's on purpose.
I like
That's the
the
best.
The candles in the back are awesome.
They're on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou has the best background of all of us. Oh, I don't know. I like Janine's. I like the bookshelves.
Yeah.
with her cheat sheet for all her answers.
Exactly.
That's it. It's just in case I got starstruck talking to you three, you see. I needed prompts.
Well, you can see now we're all three low lives, so there's no reason to be starstruck whatsoever.
I was joking. Anyway.
I have a video podcast and I can't figure out how to use my webcam. So
We're on it.
Yeah, you got the major fail award, I think, Jason.
Wow, it wasn't me.
Okay, well, has anybody got anything that they would like to add? Has anyone got anything that they would like to plug to all of our millions of listeners?
Millions?
Millions, yeah.
Way nervous than I knew.
Yeah.
Let's go in the same order. Jack?
Yep.
What? Listen or subscribe to the Final Guys podcast and also the Monster Men podcast. Both on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. And buy my friend's books.
Tell them about the upcoming Monster Men episode.
Coming up this week, I guess, I don't know when you're going to see this, but go look at Monster Men. We will have 31 movies for your Halloween watch list.
Oh, awesome.
Our annual episode. Good stuff.
Brilliant. Okay. Lou's the tech whiz, so she'll be doing all the links down below stuff. So, yeah, we'll make sure that we do that. Jason, what have you got to pimp for everyone to listen to?
Oh, I'm the worst salesman for my own stuff. It's.
We agree.
We mentioned my series, The Hunger Books, a couple times tonight while I was shitting on them. But the first one is free right now. The ebook is free everywhere. So if you want to check it out, go to Amazon or iTunes or whatever, and it is free.
Seriously, you all got to read that. Like, I loved that book before I loved Jason. So there we go.
There we go.
Thanks, man.
Is that on your blurb? Hunter loved this before he loved me. Because
we won't blurb each other's books.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap enough. Well, I'm pimping hard for my new book, Misfits, that just came out with Flame Tree Press. Janine, you have said so many glowing things. I mean, you're better than my entire family combined. So thank you. I know, Lou, you just picked it up. You just got it in the mail, right?
About halfway through it already.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I'm loving it.
I wish I could write these things as fast as people read them.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it has triggered some people because I'm all about triggering people. So I think there should be no trigger warnings in horror. Horror is a trigger warning. And if you can't handle what's in a horror book, then go read a fucking Goosebumps book and maybe, work your way up to being an adult someday.
Jesus.
There's my soapbox.
Yep. Excellent. And on that
Take that, snowflakes.
Yeah, that's right. I'll melt all of you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to reply to that one.
That's common.
You're kind of wishing for Tim Meyer back right now, aren't you?
I know. Tim was lovely. We won't have to edit any of Tim's stuff.
No. Yeah. Well,
apart from too long about the Dark Tower series.
We have to edit this. It's going to be Jason logs on and then it ends.
Okay, well, thank you guys ever so much.
Oh, you're welcome. That's awesome.
Has it been a pleasure, Lou? I think it has, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
We have to say that because you're our guest.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wrap on us in the show notes.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's been brilliant. Thank you all very, very much. And go Pats.
No.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Go Hawks.
None of us are Pats fans.
Go Steelers, Hawks, and Dolphins.
Yep, I know. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.